5th, that is the last day of this live stream, in which we will be covering the CSS grid, the leftover CSS grid. And in case we will get some time, I have actually picked up a small project in which we will be creating a web page with some articles or with some files that you will see. So please be attentive, please be comfortable, and let some people join. Then we will start with this leftover CSS grid. Okay. So welcome all. Let me share the WhatsApp group link so that in case some people wants to join, they can join us. And also, one second. So warm welcome. Please be fast. We have to finish this CSS grid today soon so that we will do the project also. I decided I have picked up a small project. So oh, fine. All things are set now. And sir, when we get certificate, so my dear friend, in case you are an eligible candidate, in case you have filled all the 5 days Google attendance form, then you are an eligible candidate, and you will get the certificate on your mail ID what you have mentioned in the Google form. And system will automatically send the certificates before Sunday or by Sunday midnight. So by Sunday midnight, you will get the certificate. And in case you are in any of the WhatsApp group, so we will share the update that participation certificates has been sent for this workshop. So in case the P Reddy, sorry, Mr. Reddy, I'm so sorry, Mr. Reddy. So please be active in the group, and as soon as our system will share the participation certificate, you will get to know. So please check your mail ID, and when we will send the certificate, we will update in the WhatsApp group. So you can join any of the WhatsApp group what we have shared. So I hope your query answers now. And is my voice clear? Can someone reply me with yes or no? I just want to see. So let us start with CSS Grid. Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Reddy. I hope your query answers. And please, I request you, and even though all of my friends, please don't focus on certificates. Certificates is there. Focus on the concept. Focus on the content. Focus on the thought process. Focus on the imagination. Your focus is required on other side of the this series. Don't focus on certificate. Certificate we will send you, not an issue. But after that, in next week we will be planning for something else in CSS also, so that we will share the update in the group. Yeah, Manisha Rani. Yeah, hi Manisha Rani. Fine. Thanks for the update. And I hope what we have covered in this week is very clear to you. And in case someone have any doubt, you can also ask us and come onto the WhatsApp group and ask or chat there. So let us start now. And today is a very important day because today we will be completing the CSS grid. and we will try to do a project. The project is quite small, but you can get a lot of idea from that project. Trust me. If without the use of Flexbox and Grid, how the project looks like, how many lines of code you need to write it, and with the help of CSS Grid and Flexbox, you can see only few lines of code will fix your screen, will set up your web page very easily. So let's start now with the CSS Grid. And first part, what we have already completed yesterday, and the leftover topics. Sorry, the leftover topics will now be taken care. And I have already opened this within the live server, as you all can see. And the live server, I have opened it in Firefox Developer Edition today. Earlier also we have worked in Firefox Developer Edition only. So let us start now. So today, now I will not be able to see the chat. After some time, I will see the chat and reply what all queries you have raised. So now, today we will be discussing a very important property of CSS Grid, which is called as the autofill, and autofit. So, as the name suggests, autofill and autofit. Autofill property is actually used with repeat function, okay, and it is used by Grid to fit as many as possible items in the row. So autofill property is used with repeat function by the Grid, and it is used to fit as many as possible items in the row before items being moved to the next row. So it is a great responsive design, and as I've told you earlier, CSS Flexbox and Grid are very responsive, and each and every functionality is very responsive. So autofill will try to fit as many as possible items in the same row without moving to the next row, and it is a responsive design where items reorganize themselves depending upon the size of the screen, whether it is a mobile view, desktop view, tablet view. So now let me create a basic HTML structure. So this is a basic HTML structure what I have created, and as you all can see the output here. So now going back to 1 second. So here let's have a basic. Let's copy the parent class and we'll put dot container, and we'll have the display as grid, and in this grid we'll have the grid gap of 20 px, and we'll have a border of 10 px solid of green color, and down we'll have the template column of with repeat functionality, and we'll use the autofill and 150 px. So let's save it now. So see what has happened now. So what we have given, we have actually created a grid template column for the autofill function with repeat, and 150px. So let me show you how it works. See, as I've told you, autofill function will try to fix as many as possible items in the row without moving to the next row. So see the response. It's a mobile view. I can say it's a tablet view, a desktop view. So this is the quality of CSS Grid autofill property. It is always been used with the repeat function. So here, as you all can see, every column is of 150px, and uh, till now the grid tries to fill till item number 5 here, even for the leftover space is not equals to 150px, and also 20 px of grid gap will not be filled here. So that is why the next available item will be placed below item number 1. So this is how the autofill functionality will work. So now, moving on to the autofit property. As I have told you, autofit property is very similar to autofill property, but there is a difference. And for this difference, in order to make you understand, let me say, or let me reduce the items till item number 4. Fine. So now, moving on to the style guide. Here we will have the display as grid drag and autofill. So here, let me open the inspect option, and so here, as you all can see, we have the 4 items here, and we will be using the autofill property. Why? Because in this autofill property, as I've told you, it tries to fill as many as possible items in the row. So now the dark lines here, as you all can see, the dark lines, these dark lines are here. With these dark lines, how can I say, shows where the grid start and end. These dark lines will show where the grid start and ends. Now you can also see the grid ending at track 8. So we can fit additional items also here because we have a leftover space. Now let's change it to auto fit and see how it reacts. So as soon as we use the auto fit here, this last line will sticks to the end of the last item. So earlier it used to have the space, leftover space, where we can fix additional items here. But here, as you all can see, as soon as we have given auto fit, 1 second, where we have given auto fit property, it actually ends where the last item ends. So now let's change, or let me do one thing. Let's create a property for item number 4. Where is item 4? Oh, item 4, perfect. So what we have given, we have asked item 4 to move to the -1. So now So now as you can see, the item 4 is shifted to the end of the grid. Why? Because we have given this is a very common pattern where you have menu items. In case you have menu items where you want to set up the navigation bar, the menu bar, the header bar, you can move your some items in the left and some items in the right. This is the property which can be used, which is called as the auto fill property, like that, where you can actually shift one of the item to the left and rest three items are to the right. So now minmax is also a very important functionality which is being used with autofill and is a very powerful concept. So let us go to the minmax now, and which makes your site very responsive without the major use of media queries. So let's create. Let me do one thing. Let me change this to. Okay. So what I did, what I increased the size of item number 2. So now I reduce this to 100 px. Fine. Now I will show you how minmax feature is being implemented. So here, see, we will be using repeat autofill, and in this autofill, we will be using minmax with two values. First one is of 150 px, and the another one is of 1 fr. So how it works? So actually, the leftover space, whatsoever will be the minimum space required for an item, is being taken up first. So here, as you all can see, item 1 requires 1 fr, sorry, 150 px, and next item 0 22 uses the next min max item. So this is how this functionality will work. And as I told you, it is responsive. So we'll show you how the response will work. So this is the response of this min-max feature. And let me use the fit functionality here and see. So this is the magic of min-max. So using repeat autofill min-max, you can make your web page a very responsive and very powerful. So now we will be moving on to the next topic in CSS Grid. One second, which is actually used, which are actually used for grid columns and grid row to place the items perfectly in the web page. So this is another a very powerful concept, and it is called as grid template areas to place the items. So now, one second. Now let me actually change the basic structure. So here, as you all can see, We have actually, as the name simply says, we have two sidebars. Okay, these sidebars will come here, a footer and a content. So here, as you all can see, we have two sidebars, a main content and a footer. So with the help of CSS Grid, we will actually be aligning these things properly. So how we will be able to use this, I will show you in some couple of seconds. So here, let me use this functionality first. So, and one second, let me open the fine. So we have created here columns and rows. Fine. So now let's have grid template areas in the format what we mention here with each row and column. So let us mention the grid template areas and grid template columns here. So we have mentioned where what is required. Fine. So now to place the content, we just have to select an item or select the item and then we will use the grid area. As in below code for footer, we will use a grid area footer, and for the sidebar we will use a grid area sidebar 1, and for the sidebar 2 we will use a grid area sidebar 2. This is how we will be using this functionality. Control C, and here uh, uh, so here, one second. So first we have declared what, and now so this is how, using the functionality of grid template area, we can actually place the items where we want to. First we have declared the items and now we will be using the grid area functionality and shift where we want the items to be placed. See, I am sidebar sorry, I am sidebar 1, I am sidebar 2, this is the main content and I am the footer. This is how we have placed the content. So now moving on to the next topic in this CSS grid, we have a very important property which is called as a legendary masonry layout, and this is a very useful property. And for this, let me change. Let me change this. Second. So here, let me disable this now for now. So here, as you all can see, we have 70 items here. Fine. So now, in case if you want 70 of the items to be placed in your web page, but some of the items have different shapes or different size, or or different fields or different kind of descriptions. It might be possible. So for this, there is a very important property in this which we call as the legendary masonry layout, where you can easily fix the content, but there is a rule which I will show you how. What is the disadvantage here? So we have the template column of with a repeat functionality of 10 column of 1 FR. So as you all can see, we have 10 columns of 1 FR each. So now let me have, as I have told you, in case you want an item where, in case you have a scenario where you have items with different content, with different field values, with different shapes, with different size, with different areas. So let's assume a web page where you have a page where you want to fix it now. So a very 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 useful property. See, the entire things has been placed. See, the entire things has been placed, but but the sequence is not guaranteed. So this is the legendary masonry layout in which you can actually place your items properly, but the sequence is not guaranteed. So in case if you want to read with me, let us start with 1 2 3 4 5, and 6 is below 1 2 3 4 5 7, then 7 8 9 10 11 12 is below 6. So this is how the grid will automatically fix the items in the page, but the sequence is not guaranteed. See, this is the functionality of legendary masonry layout, where with the help of a single line code, grid auto flow dense, fine, you have actually, you can actually place your items. Fine. So this is the functionality, and this is a very 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 important property of CSS Grid. So now moving on to the another important concept of CSS Grid, which is called as the grid alignment and centering in this tutor. Like similarly, we have learned in the Flexbox. So let me remove it. So now for this second, for this, in order to make you understand this alignment and centering process, we have justify items, align items, justify content, align content, and justify self and align self. So justify item is related to a single item, justify content is related to entire content, and justify self, align self is for a particular item, irrespective of the CSS what has been allotted to the entire page. So we will show you how it will works. So for this, let me have 1 second. So for this, let me have uh, So we have some divs, and we will be using this parent container. Like second dot container. In this we have the display as grid, and grid gap we can say of 20 px, and grid template column we will be using with the repeat functionality of 10 columns with 1 fr. So this is how we have used it. And fine. So how many items we have for G? One second. Fine, perfect. So now we have in justify items, we have basically four values in which you can actually place an item. So first we will look into the justify items which align items into the row axis. If and have the four values. We'll have the justify item start end. Let me open the inspect also. So we'll have this. Let me show you how we have this. So justify item will have the value as start. So now I request you to please focus on this content and fetch center. Fine. This is how this functionality will work. So now let me do one thing. Let me target an item. So we'll have the stretch, we'll have end, we will have start. So this is how this functionality will work. So now similarly we can have align item also. One second. Uh, 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 and align item also have the same set of values which is called as a which is called as what, start and center and stretch. So here one second. Fine. So we will have align item start, align item end, align item saying, oh, so sorry, align item. We have So here shortcut is not working on my keyboard. So align item start, align item and center and stretch. So this is how this functionality will work. Mm, so it's fine. We'll tell you once again. Start and start and center stretch. And in case we'll have this one also. So this is how the code look like. So this is how we have the aligned item and justify item values look like. So now going on to the next thing, which is called as the justify content and align content. So how this property will work like? Similar to justify item, justify content have 7 values. So like what we have learned in the Flexbox, 7 values are start and center stretch, space between, space evenly, and space around. These are the 7 values which have the justify content and align content item carries. So for this, so let's start with the property and stretch space between, space evenly, space around. These are the 7 values of justify content. This is how it works like. Similarly to justify content, we have align content also. One second, let me check. And fine, perfect. So now we have align content also. Will show you. And align content also have the same similar 7 values, which is called as a start and center, stretch space between, space evenly, like that. So now I will do one thing. Let me reduce this uh, 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 and save it. So now things will look perfect. One second. So see, space between, space v evenly, is around. So this is how this functionality will work. Again, 7 values similar to justify content and justify in Flexbox. So this is how this functionality will work. So now let me see what all are topics left. So now let us have a very small project as I have promised you. But before this, let me see the attendance sheet has been sent or not. So here, fine. So this is the attendance has been shared by the system. You all are requested to please fill the attendance sheet and what? Please fill it. Please fill completely. Please fill correctly so that the certificate what we will be issuing has the correct name of yours with correct spelling. So now we will be doing a very small project in which you can get the basic idea of how to place, how to use the minimum code, how to use the minimum code to place the items. One second, one second. So this is a basic album details as you all can see, which has the album title, album name, and a dummy content of this album. So now using some of the very small properties, we will be aligning the things perfectly. See, using the simple grid template row, grid template column property, we have grid template column with repeat auto fit and min max. The first topic what we have covered. With the help of that, you can actually your 80% of that job is being done. See, so now let's add some more thing in the background. See, background color has been created, a box shadow has been created, and a padding of 20 px has been created. So fine. This is how the complete designing is being completed. So now let's have some width also. So this is what the proper setup has been completed. So using the code for 72 lines is all, I can say of only 20 to 25 lines. The page designing has been done completed. So that's all for the CSS beginner to advanced series, 5-day series we have completed here. And participation certificate will be issued by the system and it will be sent by the midnight of Sunday. So please don't ask n number of times in the group. Please be patient. When the system will send the certificate, we will update in the group here. So be ready for the next series, and please be available in the group so that you will be updated what are the things we will be covering in next span of time.